You're going to live in a tank and be tied into this virtual world. You'll be able to wire your head in and just get unlimited pleasure. It'll feel like 10 times the best orgasm for 3 days if you want straight. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. The DMT. There's the owners of True Frequency Radio. They believe they're communicating with entities they call them clockwork elves. I'm not going to get into what they're interfacing with. They believe they're in contact with off-world groups. Chris Geo, True Frequency Radio, he takes it. You see the elves, little green hats. We're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We're in trouble. The clockwork elves, all of it, I shouldn't even get into it. There's a reason they're all whacked out of their minds. They're taking DMT. And the point is that their whole science is way ahead. We don't even know what they've got. They're in power because they're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. You think they're all a bunch of old men? They're in power because they were into this stuff 70 years ago. The DMT. They were jacking DMT 70 years ago. They were injecting it. They're taking the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. Chris Geo took the DMT. Hitler took the DMT. Stalin took the DMT. Mao took the DMT. True Frequency Radio took the DMT. I shouldn't even get into it.
Sound TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around. TV Underground has the best video clips in town. TV Underground has the best video clips around.
Hi everybody, how's it going? Good afternoon. Please like the stream. Like the stream. Give the stream a like. And if you want to help out with the Ghoul, we're way behind on the Ghoul. We're like over a day on the Ghoul. Behind. The link is pinned in the top of the chat. So, the link pinned in the top of the chat. Do it. We got an offline dono, by the way. An offline dono for $50. So, it's actually, we're closer to the Ghoul than at the end of the last stream that we did. There it is. We're at 47.33%. So, check it out. Let me play the old... Let me play the old Action News intro. This Action News intro is a testament to how stagnant the American news is in general, because this was made about almost 10 years ago, and it's still relevant to today. Like, all of the people in it are still in the news now, just much older. Just keep that in mind when I play it here and look at it. Except for Puking Dog. I doubt Puking Dog is still with us. But yeah. All right. Here it is.
He called me sir and got me so fuming angry.
People are discriminating against wolves.
Wow. They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
And you better well learn to love it.
Oh, Phoebe, I just planned it last minute. I don't plan ahead very well, so I just randomly decided to do this. That's what we're doing. So I try to avoid the news stuff, but this is funny because we use Nick Fuentes is more of a. It's weird that Nick Fuentes is an actual political figure now because he was a lolcow and a buffoon. I mean, like he did politics, but he was more of a lolcow, unless you were like, you know, an incel white nationalist like him. So we used to lolcow on him back in the day. He's Nick Fuentes has had the DP Twitter blocked for years because we were making fun of him for going on a date with a cat boy, and he blocked us. He was going to come on to debate Vosh at one point, but that all fell apart. I think the cat boy stuff ruined it. So this is Alex Jones. I don't know how much of this we're going to get through because it's long. I saw the thing with Nick Fuentes the other day where he was like, you should vote for Democrats. So Nick Fuentes is now being like, fuck Trump, you should vote for Democrats. But it's not because Nick Fuentes has become like gone further to the left or anything. It's because he feels betrayed by Trump because Trump isn't isolationist enough. So like the foreign wars, that sort of stuff, and not deporting like all of the non-whites, that kind of stuff, and the ties to Israel, because Nick Fuentes is not a fan of Israel. So that's what it is. Yeah, we'll see what's up. You know, see what's up. I don't plan on doing too much news stuff, but we'll see how this goes. So yeah, like the stream. If anyone wants to use the Streamlabs link to help out with the ghoul, feel free to go there. We're trying to kill the ghoul at some point today, if it's possible. We're almost at 50%. So that's something. All right, let's see what this is all about.
Did Israel force your hand?
Do you want to eat my ass, drunken peasants?
Ben took the DMT, Nick took the DMT, Trumo took the DMT.
Trumo? Did you mean to type Trump? Was that a typo? Was that a typo? Or is Trumo someone that I don't know of? I'm going to start calling him Trumo. We should all start calling Trump Trumo. Donald Trumo.
Did that pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we
Trumo.
were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators.
Trump shat on George Bush for the Iraq War, and he like always would accuse Obama of starting about to start a new war and shit, and then he just does it. It's like, you don't remember that.
Great people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successfully.
Trumo.
Based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And
attack who first?
I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready, and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact.
It's almost just childish to see Trump in the White House spin. Well, actually, I forced Israel to do it. this is when Trump just becomes grating. You know, all those things we thought were charming 10 years ago or endearing or funny. Now it's just grating.
No, you thought, okay. So Nick Fuentes is also like an online edgelord guy. He is a fan of the mustache man. But he's also, he likes to offend people. Like, he gets off on it. And that's why he liked Trump. Basically. You know?
And insufferable. He's obviously full of it. That there's nothing true about that at all. This idea that, like you say, that Iran was about to attack us, really? We have 2 carriers there. We got a dozen warships, 50,000 soldiers, half of our Air Force.
Yeah, we had a nuclear deal with Iran that Trump got rid of. So I don't understand why we suspected an attack. Was there any intelligence to suggest that? None that I've seen. It's all just speculation.
Iran was going to start the war against us. Does that even make any sense? That is completely made up.
And then Rubio says Israel launched an attack, so we had to, because they were going to attack us. Now Trump goes, no, they were going to attack us with no information. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I wanted to support Trump. I support the killing the carbon.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that's Alex Jones' bread and butter these days. You know, after he got sued for like $1 billion and lost, now all he can do is pander to the Trump audience. That's his thing.
That's why I hate this, because he's done a lot of good. We're watching Trump self-immolate on live television.
It is. It's a complete unraveling, and it's clear what happened there. I think, look, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, they want to run for president in 28, so they know that their butt is on the line here. If this Iran war doesn't go well, there go their presidential ambitions. And so I think that when Rubio comes out and says, well, Israel made us do it, obviously, this is like a real-time narrative construction so that when in 28 he's questioned about it on the debate stage, if this becomes a debacle, this is hedging. He can say, well, we didn't have any options. We had the choice. Either we go in with Israel at the beginning or Americans die. Well, I chose to, that's going to be the argument. That's going to be the campaign speech. That'll be the, screenshot this in a few.
I've been seeing gas getting close to like $5 a gallon in my area because people like to exaggerate the effect, the influence that the president has over gas prices. But one aspect that they do actually have influence in is if they start an armed conflict in the Middle East, the price of gas goes up. I've seen that happen so many times throughout my life, and it's happening right now.
2 years, that is what he's going to say on the debate stage. We had a choice. If we didn't act, then more Americans would have died, and I stood with Trump. We made the bold decision.
Gas prices were already high here. Gas prices are higher than average here, but this made them go up quite a bit. 50, 70 cents a gallon, like within a week.
To go in and blah, blah. That is clearly going to be the answer.
By the way, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. We got a whole other hour coming up, but let me just stop you. I said at the first of the show, they're going to use the insurance company shutting down the Strait of Hormuz as the claim that we've got to put a beachhead on the Iranian side so they can't close it to secure it for trade. I said I believe that'll be the excuse for boots on the ground, which they floated in the last 2 days, which Eric Prince freaked out about, rightfully. Ladies and gentlemen, he just put this out. Show the timestamp on this, guys. Scroll down. Pull it up. I just saw this now. Trump is now saying he signed an executive emergency order basically for war. If anybody tries to close the strait, it's already closed. So this is him using economic emergency powers to have an unofficial declaration of war. Nick, this is horrible. This is really bad. This is boots on the ground. So this is just a few minutes ago. What do you make of this, Nick Fuentes?
Well, it's like I said, we're being drawn in here. That is really the operative word. Nobody wants this. It's not in our interest. We are being slowly.
I have a feeling if we start occupying cities and shit there, this is going to last a very long time. Like, Trump won't live to see the end of it. Yeah.
Drawn in. And what that implies is that step by step, we're being dragged further into this. And that's always what happens. It always starts with, we're just putting maximum pressure sanctions. Well, we just killed Qasem Soleimani. Well, we just backed a cyber attack. It's always, we just did this one time. And all it does is increase our liability. It just increases our stake in this disaster. And so it was very obvious. Okay, we go in with the bombs really hard. We destroy the Navy. We destroy the missile launch platforms. Okay, well, then you get this logic like, well, you break it, you bought it. Now Iran inevitably is going to keep throwing missiles at us. We're running out of interceptors. So what do you do now? Iran is going to claim...
Did you guys see the videos of the fighter jets falling from the sky? They got shot down by friendly fire in Kuwait. It's so crazy to see a thing that big just like free fall from the sky and crash on the ground.
Close the Strait of Hormuz.
Crazy.
That's going to shut down 20% of the oil trade. What do you do now? Again, you're being drawn in step by step, and our share of this, our stake in this, is always increasing until you wake up and you find you're in this unthinkable scenario. So that's why I say I don't know that we can rule out boots on the ground in the future.
Oh, but that's the plan. People go, oh, the executive order just says they'll protect the ships. Yeah, they're going to do it with troops. I already saw it. Sociology, alternate plans.
Hold on, where's Fuentes?
That attention.
Where's the part? Okay, all right, here.
War now.
We knew that would precipitate an attack against American forces, and we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties.
This is deja vu, like political deja vu, because this just takes me back to pre-Iraq war. We got to get them before they get us. We got to attack them in their homes so we can keep our homes safe.
And perhaps even hire those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
So Israel hits them, so we have to go to full war now. And they try to claim, oh, we're just trying to get their missiles now. No, Trump says, oh, we killed 40-something, now we're going to kill the rest. It's about regime change. So these are clear promises broken. This is clearly unconstitutional. Didn't get congressional authorization. This is full war. It's out of control. I appreciate Nick Holding while I did a 10-minute intro. Nick Fuentes is our guest. And again, people say, this guy's pro-white, this guy's whatever. We have major universities saying no whites.
He's not just pro-white. He's like a white nationalist. I like how Alex Jones diminishes Nick's views to just, oh, he's just pro-white. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing. That's not what he is. He's like a white nationalist. He wants all the browns and blacks shipped out of the country. Like, ideally, if he had his say in it, that's what he would do.
We have whites of the devil must be exterminated. New York Times. This is the natural response to that. So I don't want to hear a bunch of stuff.
That's one of his reasons for being mad at Trump. Trump's not deporting enough people.
I always want to say that as a premise right up front. So Nick, you told us what was coming 2 years ago. You've been proven right. You know, you're like the new Alex Jones being right on things. So I want you to give your take on what's currently happening and then what you predict is going to come next. And is there any way to get Trump to extricate
Yeah, that's why he's mad. I was saying earlier, Nick Fuentes is mad at Trump because Trump is siding with Israel, and he's obviously he is a fan of the Mustache Man. And then and Trump's not doing enough to deport immigrants and that kind of stuff. That's Nick's
from the
stance.
Well, I'll take the last question first. I think the answer is no. And I was very pessimistic about the prospect of that going into this administration. As you know, in 2024, I said that Trump is the Iran war candidate. It was inevitable that Trump would take us to war. And as a matter of fact, I think that's a large reason why he got elected in the first place. I think that if you look at the election in 2020, it was obviously stolen and rigged. And so you say, well, how did he then come back and win in 2024? Well, clearly the riggers had to stand down.
How did they rig it? So I don't want to get, because this has been going on forever, and it's never going away. The election being rigged was investigated and taken to court several times. The amount of people that would have to be in on this conspiracy theory would have to be insane for this to actually be a thing. But we live in a subjective reality now for some people. So that's all I'll say.
And let him take office. And whether that's a combination of the media, social media, electioneering, whatever you want to say, they let him win. And I think they let him win because they knew that unlike Joe Biden and unlike the Democrats, he was going to have no hesitation, no reluctance whatsoever to engage Iran and its proxies, which, of course, he then did throughout 2025 and 26. So as to whether he can extricate himself from the situation, I don't think so. I think that over and over, we see the same pattern where whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, Israel triggers a confrontation with Iran. And the United States does its best, I think, in both cases, in a Democrat or Republican administration, to mitigate the severity of the confrontation.
It is crazy how the missile just like flies out of the ship.
Deterrence. I believe that Donald Trump last year wanted that midnight hammer strike to be the end of the nuclear program and one tap and the war. But, of course, Israel has orchestrated all of these different confrontations.
The military technology is crazy, how the U.S. can just have ships way out in the water, like super far away from the site of the strike, and they can just hit it with precision like that. That amazes me, but I don't know anything about how that stuff works. I'm just like, wow, that is... Because, like, that just gives... That gives the U.S. quite a strategic advantage.
They're deliberately provoking and triggering them, and I think that was the same story here. What has happened, as you said, as Marco Rubio said yesterday, is that Israel came to the United States. Netanyahu came to the White House for, I believe, the 6th time since Trump took office for the 2nd time, and he told Trump, we're going in. And you can join us or you cannot join us, but we're going to attack, and your soldiers are going to be collateral damage. And so they forced our hand. And what is happening now, once again, is actually very much more of the same, which is that in the same way that in previous years, Washington and Tel Aviv actually diverge on their Iran policy. For example, Washington seeks denuclearization. Our doctrine is non-proliferation of WMDs. Our imperative is we don't want Iran to have the bomb. Israel, on the other hand, has always wanted regime change. And these are two completely different things. Israel seeks the termination not just of the Ayatollah, but of the
a regime change to what exactly?
Entire Islamic revolutionary government.
They're going to reset. They're going to do a reset and bring back the Shah and be like, oh, the Muslim theocracy never existed in Iran. That was a dream.
That tension has characterized the three-way diplomacy between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. This war is more of the same. I believe that Trump went in knowing that Israel was going in. And I believe the play, to the extent that there is any kind of a plan, is Trump wants the Venezuela model.
Yes, Mr. Morden, you're right. It's what happened in Iraq. The region was destabilized when Saddam Hussein was taken out. And then we spent a decade there fighting insurgencies and all over various cities, and it took forever. It was costly in many ways.
Sure that he, and I think Vance and the others as well, they thought they would go in hard and quickly against Iran, destroy the Navy, destroy the missile production, destroy the missile launch platforms, kill some of the top brass. And the expectation is that somebody from within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard would rise up as a pragmatist and negotiate with the United States for peace. And they would maintain Iran's government structure and security architecture while being pliant or compliant with the United States.
By the way, you're not just speculating. They admit this, an insane gamble, just a crazy shot-in-the-dark gamble.
Yes, and that is the correct word. It's a gamble. That is totally a roll of the dice, whether that will happen. We just don't know that. We don't know who that might be, if that will happen.
It is an interesting choice for Alex Jones to have Nick Fuentes on to talk about this subject.
Now, further, this is why this is the ongoing divergence in Washington, Tel Aviv policy. That's not going to be enough for Israel. Even if that was possible, let's say in your revolutionary, zealot, Shiite, theocratic government, you get a faction from the IRGC that wants to negotiate with Washington after they killed the Ayatollah and half the leadership and blew up the country. Even if that happens, will this satisfy Israel? The answer is no. Because what Israel is seeking is a total regime change. They want to install a liberal, democratic government, maybe led by the Shah, or at least a
that's what I was thinking.
Position led by the Shah. And why? So that they can manipulate the future state of Iran, as they did in Syria, as they did in Iraq, as they did in these other countries.
And that was my point from Saturday on, is you can look at this one-dimensionally. Yeah, Mullahs are bad, but the British to the U.S. and Israel always put worse people in, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda in charge of Syria. The idea that oh, the West is this fairy godmother creating My Little Pony heavens is bullshit.
Well,
is Alex Jones, is his voice getting even more like raspy?
Totally true. And not only that, but I think it's likely at this point that a hardliner regime takes power, because who's going to be left after these people watch their leaders get killed and their colleagues and their own countrymen get killed? I don't think they become more compliant. And it's a country of 90 million people. They have 1 million soldiers between all the security services. I don't know that they're just going to lay down and beg for mercy at this point. Why would they?
Americans, even the pussified Americans wouldn't do that.
Even the pussified Americans wouldn't do that.
The Vietnamese they're not going to lay down. They're going to get more aggressive.
They will, and that plays into Israel's hands. Because then what this does is it basically...
I'm going to fuck your ass, and then you're going to be humble. That's what the Sheik would say if he was still with us.
It's the pretext for war. So, the language in the Trump admin is escalation. We're going to bomb them even harder. We're not ruling out boots on the ground. It can always get worse. And so maybe you get a ceasefire, a new regime comes to power, they don't surrender, and then we have to come up with a more permanent solution. And this is where now the U.S. is talking to the Kurds and talking about the Kurds maybe potentially being a ground force.
Now they're talking about breaking Iran up.
There's a lot of families that have their roots in Iran in the U.S. that left when the Ayatollah took over in the 70s.
Which is the Israeli plan to break up every country there.
Right, as they did in Iraq, as they did in Syria. That's the textbook Israeli grand strategy. So yes, and that's the thing. You never see the end of the Iran war. It's always, this is just the latest climax. This is just the latest ceiling of hostilities between the U.S., Iran, and Israel, which have been ongoing for decades. And I don't think this is the end of it. So I don't know that I'd be surprised.
Agree. Do you think Trump even, I'm not trying to give him a get out of jail free card, but I actually know what your answer is. I know you're smart. Do you think Trump even understands this? And the answer is no.
Oh, Nick, you little whippersnapper, you. Look at his smile. Look at Alex's smile. What is this? These two. Is this a man-boy love situation here? Is that what it is?
No, I don't think so. And I think he just overestimates his abilities. I'm sure that in part, maybe they did Venezuela to build up his confidence, because Venezuela is a totally different story. 28 million people. The regime's not loyal.
They did the limited bombing thing and let him negotiate and have Israel stand down. They did that thing last year.
Nick is like 27, but it looks like he's going to his first communion, which happens when you're like in the first or second grade. Just saying.
Here I said to get his confidence up with Iran.
You did say that. I remember I was down there and you said exactly that. And I think that is quite literally the play, which is you get that momentum, you get that inertia. And I'm sure they told him that this would create a deterrent effect. You do it to Venezuela, you can bring the force to Iran and say, hey, look,
remember, they got
what we did to this
psychologists, the really good ones, are studying Trump. I mean, they're pitching him bullshit, seeing what works, going back. I mean, it's disgusting.
It is, and they manipulate him. You know, people say it's blackmail. People say they got a tape of him. I don't think it's that complicated. I think that they surround him, they saturate his information diet, and and they form his opinions. They create the options. And the question is, where's the personnel? Where's Tulsi Gabbard? Isn't she the DNI? Where is she? Where's Vance? Where's Rubio? These are all supposed to be America First people that we were supposed to be excited about in the cabinet. And what we find from the Times is that not even a single one of them told Trump not to do it.
By the way, we're $18.05 away from hitting the 50% milestone. If anyone wants to help out with that, it would be amazing. The link is pinned in the top of the chat. So that's how you can support the show through Streamlabs. Thank you.
And these were all ostensibly supposed to be against the endless wars, the Middle Eastern conflicts.
By the way, I didn't think you were wrong 2 years ago when you predicted this, or last year when you said it was. I hope we could avert this. But clearly now, if you follow Trump's psychology, I think he just doubles down. So where does that go?
So I think that it will end in regime change one way or another. What happens imminently is sort of unpredictable. It's hard to imagine how exactly the Iranians respond and what the Trump administration has up its sleeves in terms of escalation. But I think that Israel, clearly they're driving the policy. They've orchestrated all of these events. They're not letting go until there's a regime change. And what Israel wants, they get. So I think that before the 4 years are up, you're going to see a full-scale regime change. And for that to happen, there's going to need to be a ground presence. Maybe that's partial U.S., partially it's militia or it's Kurds. I believe that is what was driving the
Kurds are delicious, especially on top of some poutine, right?
Even a month ago, it was all in the western half of the country, in the Kurdish part. And they said that these were people clad in black and they had automatic weapons and they appeared to be trained. So I imagine it's going to be some kind of smart power, multi-domain operation with the militias armed, maybe from Iraqi Kurdistan, which shares the border, and maybe from Turkey.
Was Kurdistan ever its own nation? Or is it just a region? Was there ever a nation of Kurdistan? I have no idea. I was looking it up right now. I don't think there was.
There's going to be some kind of force that comes in and forces a transition. I think that's, when you work out the math on that, I think that's all but inevitable. And it seems unlikely now, but it seemed unlikely that we'd be here. It seemed unlikely we'd be bombing Iran into submission or that we'd bomb their nuclear program a year ago. It just keeps escalating in that direction.
You predicted it because I watch your show. I watch clips almost every day, but whenever I can, I watch when I work out hours of it. Every few days.
He watches Nick Fuentes while he works out. That's so weird. That's not. Is that good workout content? Like content to work out to? Nick Fuentes, like, okay.
You literally, it was uncanny. I remember laid all this out 2 years ago. How'd you know that? You just knew their policy.
They said it.
Yeah.
They said it openly. I appreciate you saying that. And it is true. I did predict it almost to the letter, but they were basically saying this in October 2023. Right after the October 7th attacks, the Israelis all came out and they said, this is going to be a regional war. We're going to destroy all the proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and then we're going to cut the head off the snake. They said, we're going to reset the international relations in the region that has prevailed for 50 years. And I think what they meant by that is this Islamic crescent headed by Iran, which was only the latest one after the Baathists, after the Arab coalition between Syria and Egypt. So I think that if you're really paying attention, even to the rhetoric from Trump, everybody forgets that the Israelis were whispering in Trump's ear that Iran was trying to assassinate him. Why do you think they did that? It's because they were already laying the groundwork. That was their pre-programming to sabotage that relationship so that they could tell him when he becomes president, hey, remember, they did try to kill you. And that was always meant to spoil diplomacy between the two countries.
Sure, let me ask you this question then. Why do the Israelis for 5 years wear on a lot of their uniforms the Greater Israel map? Why do they admit it in their newspapers, then attack us and censor us when we say it, and then have dozens of articles a day? I can't even keep track of them.
Every time I hear Alex Jones talk, I just assume conspiracy theories are coming out. So I don't even know how much of what he's saying is actually true.
We run America. We're the new superpower. We're going to take out Turkey. We're going to take out our allies through Obama. They took out and put the Muslim Brotherhood in. You know, they created Hamas. I mean, we're sitting here watching. It's not just Netanyahu; it's the other main party and their, last prime minister saying we're going to get Turkey and others next.
His voice is so gravelly now. Does he smoke? He's got the voice of someone who's smoking several packs a day.
I mean, and then they think we're going to go to war now with Turkey, the biggest conventional military in Europe. I mean, it's like there's this giant buffet, and Israel's like 1,000-pound fat person that that wants us to sit there and hand feed all this at our expense. I mean, this is just megaloman. So I know Israel's smart.
He's got laryngitis.
But why do they brag? And I guess to enrage everybody else that's awake, because that just adds to the furor. Or what's going on here?
I think that is a deliberate provocation. I think that, part of their entire MO is they actually need the conflict. They feed on the conflict. All of this was the result from October 7th. And after all, what was October 7th?
It's crazy how Alex Jones isn't freaking out about like the AI and the like AI surveillance and shit. Because that was the whole thing, Like that was the thing he was always freaking out about, was like government surveillance and globalism, all that kind of shit.
Well, they called it the Al-Aqsa flood operation. What is Al-Aqsa? That is the mosque. That's the Temple Mount. That's the Dome on the Rock, which is in Jerusalem, which is the center really of the occupied territory dispute. That the Palestinians claim East Jerusalem as the capital, and they claim that's their third holiest mosque in Islam. And what the Jews did in Israel that precipitated the October 7th attack is they had all of these Jews go to the Dome on the Rock, go to the mosque in Jerusalem, to the Al-Aqsa compound, and they started doing their religious rites in a very provocative way. And actually, that was the precipitating cause.
And killing the red heifer.
Yes, finding the red heifer, the unblemished heifer and everything. And it was deliberately intended to provoke the Muslims into a response. And I think that the stuff about Greater Israel, the goal is the same. It is to provoke these countries into conflict, because ultimately that is the way they're going to achieve their goals, is to elicit hostility. And then that's the pretext to bring in the United States to fight their wars for them. And I think that's the playbook from day one. So that is all part of it. Telegraphing that, signaling that's all part of the sick agenda, sadly.
No, I agree. So let's unpack this, and how do we stop it? How do we stop it? We'll be right back with Nick Fuentes. Stay with us here to live feeds now. I am cutting this announcement to our VIP members and for the great customers. And nobody else has. You don't die.
Oh, God, some more snake oil. This is where Alex Jones makes a lot of money, is all the snake oil that he sells. Ultimate male vitality. Thank you, Giggle Man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
T3 iodine and other special deals and other products that they hold back, like special knives and t-shirts and things like that are only available at realalexjones.com. So I want to thank all the VIPs until Friday. If you're a VIP at thealexstore.com, it's the same shopping cart that recognizes you. You get...
I'll skip the ad.
People ask, who do I have on as guests on a routine basis? Whether they're economists, whether they're strategy people, security people, journalists, it's who is the most accurate. It's a really easy rule. I want to be accurate. I want to be smart. I want to be informed. The more knowledge I get, the more I want factoids. The more
he wants to be accurate so he doesn't get sued again.
And then I really disdain, on the left, right, anything, people that just pick up talking points and act like they know something. And what's frustrating is 90% of these so-called journalists and influencers, literally, you talk to them in person, they don't know anything. They sit there like deer in the headlights. My callers are infinitely more knowledgeable because, they're tuned in here. They probably were smart before they tuned in. That's why they look for something else smart.
Wow.
Flock together. But
they're looking for something smart. That's why they came to me, is basically what he's saying.
It's not about tooting our horns. It's about saying we need to save civilization and humanity. Nick Fuentes, you can disagree with his conclusions or what he thinks should be done sometimes, but you can't disagree with his analysis and the fact that he goes up against top geopolitical, White House advisors with 5 degrees and kicks their ass. So respect needs to be due. But also, it's not just the globals we're fighting. It's the low IQ people that we've woken up who are more like in high school, and they want
Trump is a globalist.
Hierarchy say, every the organ because we already said we got a lot of time here, and I appreciate it. But I want you to quantify before we go to these clips and unpack this and what you think's coming next, what you predict next, how we can stop this, which you already said we can't, which we still got to try. I think you're right. I'm about to evacuate to South America or something. That's where all the globalists are going. But here's my question.
Do you remember when Trump met with King Charles and then like the next day he was like, oh, we should become part of the UK again? Or like become a colony again or whatever. Alex Jones got mad for like one day, but then Alex remembered where his bread is buttered. So you don't really hear about that anymore.
Looking at all of this, is there, and I want you to think about this. I know you already said no. What could we do? A peaceful demonstration, I don't know, hang something on our doorway, or liberals would say mass strike. I don't want to join them in that because then you're allied with Islam. Is there any way to get Trump off this destructive course we're on? And then maybe describe to people, because you predicted the future, where this course takes us. Nick Fuentes.
Well, as I said, I'm very pessimistic about that. And the reason being is because when you look at the numbers, it's not popular. They did all the polls this weekend. You got Washington Post, Reuters. I think there's a few others. And the approval rating for the conflict is sitting at about 30%, right around 30%, maybe just under that. And Trump has to know this is an utter betrayal of his campaign promise of no new wars, and he's the peace president and so on. So as far as a massive demonstration, what is that supposed to demonstrate? That the war is unpopular? They know the war is unpopular. Is that supposed to demonstrate that we're dissatisfied? They know we're dissatisfied. And I think that gets back to the nature of it, which is that it is a gamble. And I think that Trump is counting on the fact, well, let's actually be honest for a moment here about it.
Was he not being honest before this?
Counting on the fact or the possibility that this works, that this little gambit pays off. And we bomb Iran a lot for a week. It's quick and it's hard, and then we leave and we get what we want, and there's minimal loss of life. If it is successful, I think people on our side may even be underestimating the appetite for something like that among the general public. If it's a big victory, or if they're able to plausibly claim victory, it may even be popular. And so I think Trump is actually okay with this. I think that Trump, the way he sees it, because he said this the other day, he said, I don't care about approval ratings. He said, and I'll put boots on the ground. I don't care. Now, obviously he cares on some level. But I think in his mind, this is all.
Yeah, you better care about a bunch of dead troops. I mean, you talk about we're talking. Oh, it'll make Vietnam numbers look tame.
I hope that's not true.
Well, it depends on what they do. If it's a full-scale invasion, you're absolutely right, because they will try to inflict maximum casualties, and it will get ugly. It will be like Iraq.
There's obviously already special forces there before this happened. I'm talking about a real invasion to, quote, secure the Strait of Hormuz or whatever. That's how they'll start it. It's a disaster.
Right. Yeah. And I agree. And I think that, on some level, he obviously cares about these things, but this is part of the bluff. This is part of the gambit, which is, partially, I think some of the things he's saying is meant to signal to the Iranians that things could get worse. If the outcome that you desire is for a pragmatic faction to take power, negotiate with the United States, well, to persuade them that is the logical course, you would actually need to convince them that things could get worse.
And that's why they just had the council meeting to elect a new mullah who didn't want peace right now.
The fabulous mullah.
So he's hoping like maybe the next group's less radical. But as you said on your show a few days ago, and it's true, as you go down the chain, they get more radical and stupider.
Yes, and that is why he's trying to persuade them that it could always get worse.
I hear Alex coughing. He might have some kind of cold or something.
I'm sure in their mind, in Trump's mind, he's thinking that these Iranians...
He forgot to hit the cough button there.
...expect that maybe they could ride out the storm. If they could survive, if they could hide out in shelters, then maybe there's going to be some continuity of government. And Trump is trying to persuade them that if they don't capitulate, it could get worse. The bottom could continue to fall out from under them.
And by the way, really low IQ influence farmers will say you just endorsed Trump. No, when you war game what he's thinking, you're not endorsing that.
Right. No, we're purely speculating about his state of mind and what his approach is. And so I think
you see the clips of you where they take you wargaming and say that's the same thing to me. That's what they do. I just want to get that out there.
Always
war gaming.
Yeah, well, and I consider those people to be third worldists because they're really arguing for.
Is Iran going to become a water park? Man, that would take a lot of water
in and of itself.
It's pretty dry out there.
Or Venezuela in and of itself, or China. And I look at Iran not as a great country. I mean, they're a Muslim theocracy, but I look at them as a country that, one, they're a sovereign state. So I don't think we have business going in and killing their leader.
Potential to destroy us and bring down the economy. So.
Right. And I would go further than that. They balance Israel. There's a balance between Iran and Israel. I don't know that that's the worst thing in the world because
there you go. There you have it.
Now why are they now publicly admitting everywhere? I'm sure you've seen it that we're taking everything, including their allies. Like it is.
He needs to show constant opposition to Israel, but not because he actually cares per se. It's just part of his Nazi cosplay that he does.
It'd be like if my neighbor said, "Yeah, I just went over and screwed my neighbor's wife, and your wife's next."
Yeah, like I said, I think it's a provocation. It's intended to be provocative. They actually do not want peace in the region, and all of this is based on fueling this ongoing conflict. They don't want it.
Same reason they stood down on October 7th. Same reason they founded Hamas.
Yes, and Americans are under the impression that we're desperate to make a deal, and there's this peace that is just always elusive, always out of reach. If only the Muslims would just relax. But it takes two to tango here. The Israelis, they are the ones that actually want the conflict. They didn't want to deal with Iran. If they get a deal with Iran, that they don't get to topple the Iranian regime. If Iran gets a deal with the United States, maybe they give up their nukes on some timeline, but they also get to normalize their trade relations and diplomatic relations with all.
Yeah, didn't Trump talk about turning Gaza into a resort town or something? He said some crazy shit.
Exactly. Israel wants to keep it to no man's land and keep them in the timeout box.
Yes, they want to maintain that kind of
the Mediterranean Riviera
operational control like they had in Syria, where they can control the airspace and they can just drop bombs, and then they could ultimately control the outcome in that country and make it significantly weaker. So that's the sick logic of Israel's grand strategy.
We have a full sales job now by Netanyahu, Trump, and now Vance. We have the clips that it may last a little while, a long time, it may last forever. We're being sold on a forever war right now. Here's my problem. I don't want the Democrats opening the border. I like Trump killing the carbon tax. I like the no tax on tips. There's all this good stuff, but rapidly, I can ignore some stuff and hold my nose with Trump, but quickly, by the hour, I morally cannot be part.
He's holding some humongous balls right there. I'm juggling their balls.
Part of this, you're already there. Saying vote Democrat.
Whoa!
You're saying there's a carrot and the stick, but what the hell's going on here?
I think you have to. I think you have to vote Democrat in 26, and I'll tell you why.
Oh my God! Did you see Alex's face when Nick said that? Look at Nick's face. God, look at him. He's trying not to laugh.
But
Alex Jones gives you some good pauses.
What the hell's going on here?
What the hell's going on here?
I think you have to. I think you have to vote Democrat in 26, and I'll tell you why. We're being told always that the Republicans are the lesser of two evils, that they're going to be marginally better than the Democrats. Look at all of the broken promises. Epstein files, that's huge. It's huge. And let's be honest, they tried to cover it up. It's not like they fumbled that. It's not like they made a mistake. They engaged in an active cover-up, and they failed only because of a revolt within their own party. And now Marjorie Greene is an outcast. She was like the MAGA congresswoman. She was like the one in Congress who came after Trump won the election. She's an outcast because she led the coup to get the Epstein files released. That's a big one. Then you got the deportations.
He's right there.
Haven't started on the border wall. And even though they secured the border, look, they secured the border in 2020. What good did that do when Joe Biden came into power? Nothing, because then he just overturned all the executive orders and they came pouring in.
There wasn't much that was really changed about the border.
And that's why you need the wall. They haven't started it. 230,000 deportations. It isn't happening. And now we're in a regime change war with Iran. You've been around. I've been around not as long as you, but for some time. Regime change in Iran is like synonymous with the neocons' ultimate master plan. That is like the number one thing on Israel's
That is true.
List. In the crown. It was the whole Middle East strategy and the Rebuilding America's Defenses PNAC plan 2020 or 2000 was this.
Yes, and even further than that, going back to clean break in 96, this has always been the plan. And for a time, we thought that was unthinkable. We thought that Trump winning made that impossible. So for Trump to be the one to take us there and sell it and push it and trigger it, and now we're in a regime change war with Iran, it's almost unbelievable to even say that. Thousands of American and Israeli airstrikes destroying Iran's military. Here's how I feel about it. If you will tolerate that, you will tolerate anything. At what point do you say no? At what point do you say there's no excuses? People say, well, if there's boots on the ground, dude, they're dropping bombs everywhere. And it's in Iran. So for me, I said, that's the last straw. I'm out. And you know me, I'm the furthest thing from a Democrat. I'm far right. I'm not left wing or even liberal. I don't consider myself even a center liberal or a right liberal.
Let's talk about that. Democrats get in. Isn't that accelerationist?
No, I think that I don't know that I would characterize it as accelerationist. I would characterize it as corrective. And it's sending a message to the GOP before the big one, which is 28.
Yeah, you're saying the only leverage we've got is the wake-up call.
Right. And, 28, we got to win that one. I really believe a Republican's got to win, but we need it to be the right Republican. And I don't know that there's any other language they will understand other than to show them we're not showing up in 26. And what's more, I also think that Vance and Rubio are to blame in this as well. If they couldn't stop a war in Iran when they're in power now, how are they going to make the decision when they become the president?
We knew Rubio's a deep state guy. He's been. Quote,
I don't know why Rubio's even a consideration.
But Vance
on
was
their
an open
end.
Thing. He's come out now and said we may be there in a long war. So Vance is definitely getting in line with that. In fact, speaking of the devil, let's go to those clips first. Here's Thune, the leader of the Senate, saying Trump doesn't need a war powers. He has authorization, which no, he doesn't. This is pure war, folks. This is not blow up their weapons. This is regime change. And then Vance saying the same thing and then saying basically this could be a forever war. And then I want to go through these other clips, but here it is.
Do you think the Congress would need to authorize any military action against Iran beyond the 60-day or 90-day window?
No. I think the president has the authority that he needs to conduct the activities, the operations that are currently underway there. As you know, there's a lot of controversy around, questions around the War Powers Act, but I think the president is acting in the best interest of the nation and our national security.
Of course you do.
By ensuring that he's protecting Americans and American bases and institutions.
Tim Scott. Not a lot of brain activity going on in that brain. Look at him. He's like, was he just staring off into space? Like, why is he even there? Is he going to talk?
Relations in that region, as well as...
They just have to come out and just defend whatever Trump does. Like, they can't sway at all. They can't have their own opinion on anything ever. They have to toe the line.
Of our allies.
We'll go back and you can get Nick Fuentes' take on this, but Marco Rubio yesterday. Israel launched the attack. They were going to attack us. We had to attack them because they would attack us and we attacked them. Thune just said, we attacked them, so they're going to attack us, so now we have to authorize the war. So we attack somebody, so the president doesn't have a War Powers Act because he has the power to attack somebody. I mean, this is insane. Continue.
The United States has a lot of optionality here. And, we could go for a little bit longer. We could go for a lot longer. But I think the president just wants to make it clear to the Iranians and to the world that he is not going to rest until he accomplishes that all-important objective of ensuring that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, not just for the next few years, not just because we obliterated Fordow or some other enrichment facility, but because the Iranians themselves commit long-term to not building a nuclear weapon.
So
J.D. Vance is such a weenie. I hope he doesn't become president.
Stuff, which I said was BS, to now total war. Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, they said last year that the program was completely obliterated. And, you know, we've almost even talked past the point. It's sort of interesting. Last year, the pretext for bombing Iran in the first place was that they were racing towards a nuclear bomb. When Israel hit Iran on June 13, 25, they said, well, Iran was going to strike us, and they were racing towards a device. That's why we had to preempt that by striking them. And then, of course, the U.S. intervened to finish the job at Fordo and Natanz, which only we could do with the bunker busters from the B-2 bombers. Well, then, in January, when these protests started in Iran, all of a sudden that shifted. And Trump came out and said, well, we were going to attack Iran, but we couldn't topple the regime in one blow. And you say, well, wait a second. I thought Israel and the United States attacked Iran last year because they were on their way to a nuke, but then we took care of it and we blew up their program. Now they're saying, well, we couldn't bomb Iran at our discretion in January because it wasn't going to topple the regime. And you say, topple the regime? I thought it was about the nuclear program. And like you say, now we're in it. Now we're in a full-fledged regime change war. And you wonder, who made this decision exactly? Who voted for this? Why is this happening? Arguably, it is within, I think, America's interest to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. And if they're about to imminently acquire them, a case could be made. I don't know that I would make it, but in a theoretical, a case could be made that the United States might preempt that by intervening in Iran.
The point is they've abandoned that cover story, and Trump says, oh, we killed 47, now we'll kill the rest. It's all about regime change now, which under the law is illegal to preemptively attack somebody saying, I want regime change. So Trump's being set up here with major impeachment charges.
Well, and they're throwing everything out there. It's the dead protesters. It's the nuclear program. It's the missiles. It's just like Iraq. It's exactly like Iraq. Oh, they're building a nuke, but also they did the anthrax plot, also 9/11. They just throw everything out there in the hopes that enough people are going to buy it. And like you said, there's nothing legal about this. What is the authorization for the use of force against Iran? Did Congress declare war? At what point was this decision made, and exactly by whom? So I don't know that this is impeachable because, ironically, the Democrats support it too. Chuck Schumer came out of the closed-door hearing with Marco Rubio at the State of the Union, or the afternoon of, and said, well, this is very serious, and Trump's just going to have to make his case. There's a lot of Democrats that support this, guys like John Fetterman, among others.
They're stepping back to not take any problems if it goes sideways, but they're behind it.
100%. I think so. And I don't think they would move against him for that. So
here's Trump saying that, no, he forced Israel's hand, even though on record the Pentagon admitted, no, we didn't know. They took the opportunity, so we had to hit. The Secretary of State says that Trump makes him come out and say that wasn't true. Talk about congressional hearings now. What's going to happen to Rubio when he's in front of Congress? So this is very embarrassing right now. Here is Trump saying that they made him force... that Trump forced Israel's hand to strike first during the middle of the day against our doctrine. And then why do you think Rubio came out yesterday and said Israel forced our hand? What do you think the impetus behind that was? Here it is.
President, did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did that
No. Of course he's going to say no.
No, I might have forced their hand.
Oh, God.
You see,
I doubt
we were
that.
having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were
Evidence,
going to
please?
attack first. I felt strongly about that.
Why? Why did you feel that way?
Great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready, and we were ready, and we've had a very, very powerful impact.
Well, since the 80s, Iran has not launched an attack first. Every attack has been a response, a retaliatory attack. I mean, that is literally pulled out of Trump's butt, Nick.
Pulled out of his butt.
It is. And that's exactly what happened last year, too. Israel came in and Trump said, oh, we knew they were doing it. They told us, and the whole negotiations were a ruse. It's almost just childish to see Trump in the White House spin. Well, actually, I forced Israel to do it. This is when Trump just becomes grating. You know, all those things we thought were charming 10 years ago or endearing or funny. Now it's just grating and insufferable. He's obviously full of it. There's nothing true about that at all. This idea that, like you say, that Iran was about to attack us, really? We have 2 carriers there. We got a dozen warships, 50,000 soldiers, half of our Air Force, and Iran was going to start the war against us.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all. And Trump didn't show any intelligence that suggests there was like an attack from Iran coming to the United States. Like, can we see some
Can't even make any
data
sense.
on
What
that?
the F is this? I joined the stream 5 minutes ago and I finding myself agreeing with bugger eating Fuentes. Is this the upside down, Ben?
This is, well, Nick's opinions on Trump are influenced by other aspects of his political beliefs that many of us don't share with him. You know, so... But yeah, he's doing this thing where he's done with Trump and he's ready to burn it down and get the Democrats in to show, I guess, to influence Republicans to get rid of MAGA and move on to something else, I believe is pretty much what he's saying.
Completely made up.
And then Rubio
the idea,
says Israel launched an attack, so we had to, because they were going to attack us. Now Trump goes, no, they were going to attack us.
I'm wondering if Fuentes will ever run for political office. That would be very strange.
No information. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I wanted to support Trump. I support the killing the carbon.
That was really crazy when that guy came to Nick Fuentes' house with the intention of murdering him because he had already murdered somebody else that same day. That was crazy. The guy had he had a crossbow and some guns. Fucking crazy story.
That's why I hate this, because he's done a lot of good. We're watching Trump self-immolate on live television.
it is. It's a complete unraveling, and it's clear what happened there. I think, look, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, they want to run for president in 28, so they know that their butt is on the line here. If this Iran war doesn't go well,
are we sure Rubio's going to run?
Presidential ambitions. And so I think that when Rubio comes out and says, well, Israel made us do it, obviously, this is like a real-time narrative construction so that when in 28 he's questioned about it on the debate stage, if this becomes a debacle, this is hedging. He can say, well, we didn't have any options. We had the choice. Either we go in with Israel at the beginning
My
or
mentals
Americans
cannot handle
die.
this
Well,
new timeline. Make it stop. What's next? Me joining the Cousin Matt fan club? Fuck.
You should. You and him can ride motorcycles together. Be fun.
That's going to be the argument. That's going to be the campaign speech. That'll be screenshot this. In a few years, that is what he's going to say on the debate stage. We had a choice. If we didn't act, then more Americans would have died. And I stood with Trump. We made the bold decision to go in and blah, blah. That is clearly going to be the answer.
And by the way, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. We got a whole other hour coming up. But let me just stop you. I said at the first of the show, they're going to use the insurance company shutting down the Strait of Hormuz as the claim that we've got to put a beachhead on the Iranian side so they can't close it to secure it for trade. I said I believe that'll be the excuse for boots on the ground, which they floated in the last 2 days, which Eric Prince freaked out about, rightfully. Ladies and gentlemen, he just put this out. Show the timestamp on this, guys. Scroll down. Pull it up. I just saw this now. Trump is now saying he signed an executive emergency order basically for war if anybody tries to close the strait.
I wish we could limit the executive authority when it comes to starting a war. Because it just seems too easy for the president to just unilaterally start a war. And the whole congressional thing, it's technically it's Congress that declares war, but that never happens. It's always, executive authority starting military operations in various places.
Him using economic emergency powers to have an unofficial declaration of
I don't think
war.
Marco, they keep talking about Marco Rubio like he's running for president. Even if he does, he's not he's not going to make it.
Nick, this is horrible. This is really bad. This is boots on the ground. So this is just a few minutes ago. What do you make of this, Nick Fuentes?
Well, it's like I said, we're being drawn in here. That is really the operative word. Nobody wants this. It's not in our interest. We are being slowly drawn in. And what that implies is that step by step, we're being dragged further into this. And that's always what happens. It always starts with, we're just putting maximum pressure sanctions. Well, we just killed Qasem Soleimani. Well, we just backed a cyber attack. It's always we
I
just
can imagine
did this
Cousin
one
Matt
time.
riding a hog. But enough about Brett Keane. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you. I appreciate it because the ghoul has been struggling this week, and this is very helpful, so I appreciate it. Now we're almost at 50%. That's amazing.
And all it does is increase our liability. It just increases our stake in this disaster. And so it was very obvious. Okay, we go in with the bombs really hard. We destroy the Navy. We destroy the missile launch platforms. Okay, well, then you get this logic like, well, you break it, you bought it. Now Iran inevitably is going to keep throwing missiles at us. We're running out of interceptors. So what do you do now? Iran is going to
By the way, please like the stream. Hit the like button if you haven't already. It helps. It helps.
Strait of Hormuz. That's going to shut down 20% of the oil trade. What do you do now? Again, you're being...
Oh, yeah. When there's an election and there's no incumbent president, tons of candidates run in the primaries for both parties. Because it's kind of up for grabs. They have a good chance of winning. So I believe Rubio will run, but I don't think he has the charisma that will get people to vote for him.
Step by step, and our share of this, our stake in this, is always increasing.
JD Vance is more charismatic than Rubio, in my opinion, but that's not saying much.
So you wake up and you find you're in this unthinkable scenario. So that's why I say I don't know that we can rule out boots on the ground in the future.
Oh, but that's the plan. People go, oh, the executive order just says they'll protect the ships. Yeah, they're going to do it with troops. I already saw it. People, we got a whole other hour coming up, but how people find you, Nick?
I am at rumble.com/Nick J. Fuentes. I'm live every weeknight, and I'm on Twitter, Nick J. Fuentes as well.
And I'm at Real Alex Jones on X and the Alex Jones Show on Rumble. Everybody, we've survived so much, nobody thinks we're going to get shut down. The state receiver is refusing to pay the internet bills, refusing to keep the company open. So it looks like we're shut down.
People. Every donation gives Brett Keane 2 days of diarrhea.
Burning diarrhea. That diarrhea that feels like lava. You're like a father. Turn it off, Gumbo.
Turn your fucking audio off, you...
I love you, Brett.
Turn
You're
it
like a father
off.
to me.
Turn your fucking audio off, you...
Yeah, I don't think Rubio will get the nomination. I love you, Brett. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the next 2 years.
We have the backup network. Just be ready, people, because you survive so much, you don't take it serious. Just get ready to share. Here's where Alex is at. Because I don't cry wolf. I just survive a long time. We'll be right back with hour number 4. I'm making this announcement on
hour
Tuesday,
number 4.
March 3rd, 2026. 40% off on supplements, game changer reorder.
Here's
available.
Let's get some snake oil up in this bitch.
In that industry has it because the products are so good, and obviously you're loyal as well.
Anyone want to try this out?
Thank you so much for keeping us on the air of my broadcast and other broadcasts like it. But regardless, the enemy recognizes that InfoWars is the tip of the spear and the bad people. The info is owned by me, it's owned by them, and I work for them. And so as long as you support the sponsor, InfoWars is because blue thing on the side.
Oh my God, this ad is so long.
Is Trump 10 years younger than...
Wow, this ad is so long.
Yes, not to be political. Long time involved.
Is Nick... Oh, no, Nick's still here. Okay.
Consequences of this, why privately the chairman of the Joint Chiefs told Trump don't do it, Eric Prince, many others. And, we have Trump and J.D. Vance in compilation saying we're not going to go to boots on the ground. We're not going to go to regime change. They're doing it. All right. I have to go to the bathroom really quick, and then I'll come back and we'll watch some more. So I'm going to play a little ditty for everyone to vibe out to while I step out of the room for a moment. Enjoy. The paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderous scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy weird sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this morning.
Hell yeah. Great song. Amazing song. All right, we're flipping it now. Now we're back.
Speak to what you predict happens down this road we're going, and just there's got to be other ways of leverage. If we can't leverage Trump, who do we put pressure on in Congress to stop this, or is AIPAC too powerful?
I think what has been set in motion cannot be stopped at this point. I think that the time to do it would have been in 24, and everybody reassured us that if Trump won, well, we would pressure Trump later. I remember Mike Cernovich said that. He said, well, this is how politics works. You know, you don't know how politics works. I do. He said, you got to get Trump elected, and then we're going to work in the admin, and we're going to fight the personnel and blah, blah. And this is, I know we've had this conversation. This is always my refrain. It's like, we tried that. We did that. We did that in the first term. And by the way, how did the first term end? Trump ripped up the 2018 nuclear deal. In 2019, we're effectively in a war with Iran. In 2020, he kills Qasem Soleimani. We're shooting down drones. They're attacking tankers. You can Google it. There's an article, I believe it was in December 2020. Trump actually ordered the military to attack Iran, or at least was considering it, in the lame duck session. And it was only his generals that discouraged him from doing it. So it's like, this is deja vu all over again. We live this, and we tried all that. The personnel, the voting, the Twitter campaign, the hashtags. And I think that, you know, now Trump is going to do what Trump is going to do. And Trump, who knows why? Blackmail, persuasion, whatever. Those people are around him.
It's ego. Clearly, you said it an hour. It's ego.
It's ego, certainly. Whatever it is, that's what we're stuck with. And I think that if you want to really get it to stop, you just got to switch up and play both sides. You got to play both sides and go Democrat. And I don't want to do it. You know, I don't like the Democrats. I fully understand what they represent, but you know, what else can you do to the Republicans? All that other stuff is flaccid. Protest, tweet about it. They know if you are going to vote in November that you're really not serious. You know, you're going to go and rah, 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 hold up the sign. But as long as they get your vote in the end, I mean, honestly, what difference does it make for them? There's a little less enthusiasm. They don't care. So I'm really, like I said, I think that we actually have to think beyond this, and we have to think the only way out of it is 28. How do we relight the flame in 28? That's all I care about. And for that to happen, maybe there needs to be a little pain. You know, the current GOP has to suffer a little bit for it to be reborn in 28. But it's not going to be Vance and Rubio that save the day, obviously, based on this.
Well, I would say this. I may agree with you if we say we're not going to accept, we're not going to support. I would almost call it like a candidate by candidate basis. And then if somebody's a neocon, or we should do a litmus test, if they support this, they shouldn't be voted for. I almost see it as like a loyalty pledge. But let's come back, because the French are sending their aircraft carrier to protect the one of the main corridors there, Suez Canal, and Trump is now basically saying they're going to send in U.S. ships into the Strait of Hormuz, which is a total trap. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. I don't want people to miss the historic point we're at right now. The fourth turning, the end of the old order, the populist revolution's happening everywhere, and then Trump betraying what he said he would do. I have compilations of him saying no boots on the ground, no full war. And here we are, and it's all unraveling in real time. The Strait of Hormuz has already been closed by insurance companies after Iran began to attack ships and blew up and sunk a few in the last 3 days. And now Trump signs an executive order saying, we'll do whatever we have to for open shipping. We'll put troops on the ground on the Strait of Hormuz on their side. We're going to have military escorts through there. The announcements are being made off his plan. I mean, this is escalating to the next level immediately. And this is why Eric Prince and
Fuentes come. Oh, here we go.
It is. It feels surreal. I still can't even believe it. Even though I've been predicting it, and even though we're watching it, I wake up and I see the news. We are at war with Iran. And for people that are not paying attention to all this stuff, again, it cannot be overstated. This is like, it's literally the neocon nightmare scenario, like war with Iraq, Syria, now Iran. You
this
just
is
go
the
like,
ghost of the neocons possessing us. This is their wet dream.
yes. And for Trump to be the one delivering it, that's the most surreal aspect of all of it. You could see a DeSantis doing this. You could see a Kamala Harris doing this, honestly. But to see Donald Trump on Friday night at Mar-a-Lago with the hat on, with the black curtain announcing this war, building the case against the Iranian regime, you go, what happened? What happened to this movement? You know, I mean, you and I, we've been with Trump really since the beginning, since 2015. And when he came down the escalator, his first big move was basically to destroy this Republican support for war, and the war in Iraq in particular, repudiate that whole legacy of the Bush dynasty, George Bush, Jeb Bush. And so for him now to be doing this, it really feels like it's come full circle.
And we have Lindsey Graham having orgasms on television.
That too.
That's frightening.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham's a huge fan of this. Well, endorsed by Trump. So, I mean.
Oh, I got Dick Cheney and Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell and Ronald Rumsfeld.
Again, this is my frustration. The signs were all there. J.D. Vance said at the Republican convention in 2024, we need to bomb Iran really hard. And Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham. This time he endorsed him 6 years ago. And Trump got up, you remember, during the election, and he said, if Iran takes me out, then we're going to wipe Iran off the map. Like, all of this was telegraphed from the beginning.
Yep.
And really, you know who I blame, sadly? I blame the so-called plan trusters. I know that you were more bullish on Trump, but you acknowledged these were legitimate concerns. There were a lot of people that said, no,
stop. Because you've been righter than me on this, and I'm not always right. I'm right about 90% of the time. I've been very honest, so I'm gonna now.
I'm right about 90% of the time.
Because when I'm wrong, I'm gonna say it publicly. I needed Trump to be real, and so much good stuff. The carbon tax, getting out of it, I can go for an hour, and it's still better than that. But you can't have lesser two evils. I have the Democrats trying to put me in prison. I just got subpoenaed again to defend. When I got Arctic frost, I got to go to Congress and provide my documents because going after Jack Smith. So the Democrats are trying to put me in prison. They run show trials on HBO. So obviously, it's not that I'm being paid off by Trump. I've been persecuted for supporting him. So I want to now pay out on this. I want to save the country, secure the border, find the missing kids. I want to believe. But I'm not in a cult. I'm not delusional. So I was like, I'm critical. This is overall good. But and now I'm just like, now I'm having to think of the off-ramp. Nick, we've talked about this privately. You're targeted too. They're trying to kill you at your house. This is your name's Nick J. Fuentes. I'm Alex E. Jones. We're real people. We're under attack. So we're in the real world. You do what you think's right. I do what I think's right. You're not paid by people. I'm not.
What is he even saying? We're in the real world.
Me, I needed Trump as my lifeboat may not be perfect, but it's the lifeboat I've got. And I'm watching it sink by its own doing.
Trump was his lifeboat.
And so this is horrifying. And so, but I can't sign on covering up Epstein. I can't sign on to World War III. And so that's why I tried to promote the optimism, because I fucking need this, man. Like, I want to fix the country. I want to turn it around. So it's not that I was delusional. And I still hope we can turn it around, but I just... Sorry, go ahead. You get what I'm saying?
Is Alex about to cry? He's about to weep over this.
I get it. And listen.
Trump gave Alex Jones a way larger audience. Alex Jones already had a fairly large audience, but then when Trump started running for president and was on Alex Jones, it was like, whoa. Like Alex Jones is actually getting presidential candidates on now. And it kind of, I don't know. The Trump thing really changed Alex Jones.
Like I said, I don't think that everybody that supported Trump was being dismissive about these concerns. I get it. We all wanted to believe. I was 18 years old when Trump ran in 2016. And I remember getting in fights with people. This is my whole life too. At 18 years old, I wore the MAGA hat at Boston University, one of the most liberal campuses in the country, and became a pariah on my college campus.
Something you sacrificed. It's sad to see something you fought and bled for die.
Yeah, and that's my whole adult life. I know that's a huge part of your life also, and now we're witnessing it's totally unraveling. It's an utter and complete betrayal. It's heartbreaking in many ways.
And when I try to salvage it with people, I get attacked as a liberal, which is when these people doing that can't even find Iran on a fucking map.
Yeah, well, what's called for is for us to be sober-minded about the entire thing, because there's a lot of Trump haters.
I've been a realist the whole time, but was hoping, and now I'm just not even hoping. I'm just going to be a realist.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it's okay to have hope. I mean, we hope for a better future, but we got to be brutally honest about what this administration has become. It's like, I saw this game play out in the first term, and I remember I went to D.C. in 2018. I met with people from the admin, and me being like 20, I was like, is Q real? Is there a plan? Is there a 5-dimensional chess? Is this all like going to end in building the wall and so on? And they looked at each other and they laughed in my face and they said, bro, I said, it is worse than you could possibly imagine.
Oh, I've been at the top of the Justice Department, and they literally they laughed at me, and they said, no, we mean well, but you have no idea how bad it is. The exact same thing.
Yeah, and anyone will tell you that. Anyone from Trump 1, any of the good guys from Trump 1, any of the people in Trump 2, they will tell you the exact same thing. It is brutal.
And that's right, and I will not come on air and lie to my audience about the situation, because I believe in them. If they know how desperate it is again, we will rise to the occasion. I mean, I'm not going to sell hopium. It's just that clear.
And it's tough. I mean, it's tough because you're right. I mean, what other option do we have? That's really the question. People say, well, what else is there?
Well, that's it. I'm so sad.
I was just looking this up, like the cumulative polling right now, which is very early. But when they're polling Republican presidential nominations, and they kind of do an overall average of all the polls, looks like J.D. Vance has 45% of the vote. And then Trump Jr. I don't think Trump Jr. is going to run. Maybe. That's ridiculous. It is very early, though.
To have to start turning loose of something that had so much potential.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like
not only
it's like
that,
a grandma dying or something.
Well, it's sort of literally. I mean, he's kind of getting up there, you know. So it's very tragic and sad, and sadly, there's no alternative. I think it would be a little bit easier on all of us if there was any underclassmen here.
Exactly. There's no. I was about to say there's no stable of new horses here.
Yeah, and I see that as a big failure of Trump, because it should have been a whole new stable. It should have been a new generation of MAGA congressmen and senators. You know, like, where's our AOC? Well, they all got cannibalized. Madison Cawthorn got destroyed by the Republicans. Matt Gaetz got destroyed by the Republicans. Marjorie Greene got. So you had a few of them.
And
not as many as there should have been.
Gets vaporized by Susie Wiles.
Yep, Susie
By the way,
Wiles,
I confirmed 3 months ago with Flynn. He showed me the stuff. They're running opposition on hundreds of people. Flynn, myself, by the way, I told you this. They're running major opposition research on not the Democrats, but on us, because they know we're true. That's another level of this. Like, how's that feel?
And that people have no idea, but that has always been the struggle inside the GOP. That is always how it's been, which is that the establishment is always at war with its own base. This happened with the Tea Party.
It's fratricide.
I don't even know that it's fratricide, because these people aren't even like us. You know, these
I agree,
people
but like, we're the real deal, and they're. What does the doppelganger always do? The thing, or the body snatcher, it kills the real thing.
Exactly. Well, it's invasion of the body snatchers.
Yeah, so they're the body snatchers. You're right. It's not fratricide. The body snatchers want to get rid of the real one.
Yeah, it's that skin suit. They take the organic mass movement, they try to mimic it as best as possible, and then they eliminate the actual movement. That was the Tea Party. I just talked to Michelle Malkin this week, and she said, you know, we ran the
I haven't
same
heard that
playbook
name in a
20
while.
years ago.
Michelle
We ran
Malkin.
the same playbook in 2006 when we would campaign against the rhinos in favor. Yeah, I know you guys have little.
No. The crew's telling me about clips. I was listening to you. They were like, Alex, you're supposed to reveal this big White House thing, which will do the next segment. I was listening to you. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so, you know, this has been a multi-generational struggle. You go back to the John Birchers and National Review. You could go back to the paleocons and the neocons, Pat Buchanan, Sam Francis, Joseph Sobran versus the neocons, Tea Party, right up through to the Trump movement. And I always sort of knew right around 2018, 2019, that the biggest gap is that Trump is not an institutionalist or an institutionalizer. He is actually not going to create the so-called movement conservatism of the Trump generation. Who's going to fill in the gaps? It's all the same people. It's all the same moneyed interests.
What you just said is beyond key. His strength is he's not institutional, but when he leaves, that's our greatest weakness, because there's nothing staying. There's nothing left there.
Exactly.
We've known this
and
for a
that's why
while.
it's now backsliding. You know, the person.
Maybe that's why Trump Jr. is on the polls, simply because of who his father is. I don't see Trump Jr. running.
There is no cadre of radical Trump supporters to fill up this White House. He still has to rely on the old guard.
Let's look at Iran in a good way, a bad way. They've got even more radicals below, so they knock out the elite. It doesn't matter. They just get stronger. With us, there's no second bench.
Well, yeah, there's no bench at all. Trump said it himself today. He said, I'm MAGA, not Tucker, not Megyn Kelly. He said, it's just me. And you go, really? It's not Tucker. It's not Marjorie. It's not.
It dies with him.
Thomas Massey. It's just you and your war with Iran and your Epstein files.
Any real thinker, I've told you probably earlier, Nick, I respect you. Just with something you say about you're a leader, you care. I'm like, you're the future, Nick. We're counting on you. A real leader immediately recognizes younger bulls that are going to lead the people in the future. That's what a tribal leader does. With Trump, it's this ego thing where anybody else being strong is bad. And as he gets older, it gets worse. It's sick.
You're right. That's like a boomer thing. That's the baby boomers, or he's 1946. This is like
he's silent generation. Technically, Trump is part of what they call the silent generation. The boomer presidents were Clinton and George Bush Jr.
Baby boomer thing. They will not like let us have anything. They're hoarding the wealth. They're hoarding these like fiefdoms. You're right. It is an ego thing. And at the end of the day, that is really his issue. Nobody wants to admit it. It's actually brave of you to say that because that's a huge thing. A lot of people say, oh, it's his advisors. He's getting bad advice. It's his personnel. It's him.
No,
It's
I said
always
back in
been
March,
him.
it's him coming up, Epstein. All because he loves the power of protecting all these scumbags. He's not involved. He loves the power over them. He's not even in the blackmail. He's just in general, I'll take care of it. Bullshit, you will, man. And that's my concern is how do I not go totally psychotic and go all out anti-Trump because I still want to get Republicans elected because they're better. That's a real needle to thread here. That's what I'm trying to do, Nick.
It's tough. Like you said, I mean, because we're also trying to stay out of jail. You know, we're literally between a rock and a hard place. The Democrats want to kill us and flood the country with immigrants. The Republicans want to send us to die for Israel. So you go, okay, well, I mean, it's really hard to win here.
Todd Blanche. Let me tell you, to be clear. They're trying to figure out how to put several hundred of us. Just confirmed 600. Flynn, they told Flynn, they're trying to put us in jail, bro. We don't have 3 years anymore. We have Todd Blanche trying to do it now.
Under what pretext?
They got they just like they opened a national security investigation under Obama in 2013. They got the FBI. We know because the FBI doesn't like it. And as bad as they are, they're like, what is this? Like, really? They got jihadis, sleeper cells. They are literally
This
over
guy
200 people.
always has a scowl on his face. I think being Trump's lawyer will do that to you.
They have FBI, national security dragnets going on us right now. When I said opposition research, that's just the name of it. No. The Republican Party is now looking at all of us that have any soul, and they see us as the enemy.
We got to get out of Dodge, man. I don't know what country you're dropping in at, but that's the saddest part. You know, the whole country's coming down. The GOP's coming down. It's hard to kind of figure out what that next move is. That's why, for me, I keep my options open.
Used to head up the Army and then the Defense Intelligence. He got confirmed. He won't give me classified stuff, but they're like, sir, they got a whole opposition thing to take us down, and you're at the top. And they say it's a bunch of names. And he's like, so, yeah, no, they're literally not worried about Democrats. They're going to put them in jail. They're literally worried about loyal Americans. And to the Pentagon's credit, they're like, this is bullshit. Like, I've had all these Delta Force current guys, all of them call me, thank you, we're not going to go along with this. They're all freaking out, which is the good news. They have the Pentagon, bro, tasked to spy on us as the enemy when we're the real Americans. I mean, imagine the wake-up call in Tampa that they're like, we're not tasked for Muslims, we're tasked for Nick Fuentes and General Flynn and Alex Jones. I just give you that newsflash.
Yeah, well, that's the story of the admin, you know. Bill Clinton is being protected, Hillary, Obama, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's always this cope, like, well, you know, here's how Trump can still
that's
win.
What I'm saying you're right, because we learned this the last 60 days. I told you this on the phone. I don't know if it got through because I talk fast. Dude, we're the focus because they know we're not sellouts. They're like, looking, we got it all. We got Trump under control. Who will block us? And they're literally getting rid of Ed Martin, creating files on us. And they're pissed because there's nothing there. What, like your most decadent action is what, getting a pizza, right? That's your big party. Exactly, me too. I don't mean that's a pedophile thing. I mean like you're getting a steak.
I don't mean like that's a pedophile thing. Wow. Hold on, I got to hear that again.
They're like, looking, we got it all. We got.
He's so manic.
Under control.
Does he do blow or something?
Who will block us? And they're literally getting rid of Ed Martin, creating files on us. And they're pissed because there's nothing there. What, like your most decadent action is what, getting a pizza, right? That's your big party. Exactly, me too. I don't mean that's a pedophile thing. I mean like you're getting a steak or whatever. They literally, though, are enraged because they can't find anything on us. They won't charge the Muslims. They won't charge the Somalis stealing billions. But literally, the eye of the White House is on us because they're worried we'll influence Trump.
That's how it's always been. You know, the GOP has always been cannibalizing the authentic base. That's just it. And that's why I've always said the GOP is really our biggest enemy. It's not even the Democrats, because at least the Democrats are the devil, you know, and you know that they're your enemy. But it's always these Republicans. They say, we're going to take the fight, hold the line, all this. And then they always turn the cannons inward and shoot at their own people. That has always been the story. So, you know, I tell my followers, take your own side. The GOP is not looking out for you. They're not fighting your enemies. They're not securing
Well, that's
advantages
right.
for you.
America first in our America survival. In fact, I'm going to start the America Survival Party. America first is great. America only. How about America Survival? We need to understand it's up to
America's
us.
survival.
Nobody's
party.
coming to save us.
And that's what people got to get through their heads is it's not going to be a top-down thing. It's going to be incumbent on all of us to get involved. Getting involved in government, getting involved in the universities and the private sector, because obviously we tried it with Trump. People say you're not going to vote your way out of this. Surely we're not going to solve it just by electing the right president and expecting everything to flow from the top down. It doesn't work that way. So I agree with you completely. It's a shame because we had an opportunity here. Like you said, we really had a major opportunity. Trump won the popular vote, for crying out loud, on a platform of mass deportations and everything. And what it has secured is a corporate tax cut for the rich, a war for Israel, Epstein cover-up. You go, okay, so what are we doing here? What does it profit us actually to even participate in the charade? So I'm interested in a revolutionary change or nothing at all. And I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people think that's extreme. And they remind me, if the Democrats get in, then this, that, and the other. I'm interested in either we get the change or we don't. But if the Republicans are
compromise
marginally...
has gotten us here.
Right.
And I respect your stuff is, super accurate, so I respect accuracy. We should still try to think of leverage points, because Trump did shut up when he kept saying vaccines are great with Bill O'Reilly and stuff until a few years ago, and he finally shut up and brought in Kennedy. They've done some good. He never admits guilt, but sometimes he'll back off. I think we shouldn't give up yet. How do we put pressure on Trump to pull out of this insanity?
Alex Jones doesn't want to give up yet. He's got nothing else.
You got to try, even if it's impossible.
I mean, the most you could do is express your dissatisfaction.
You could write a strongly worded letter.
I don't know that there's going to be a 1 million man march anytime soon. I think the war is actually, they say it's not that popular, but I think people are apathetic. So what do you do to pressure Trump? I mean, you can call your congressman, and your congressman can take it up with Mike Johnson or something. But I think all we could do is really buckle up, and we could wait for this to wash over us. I think at the minimum, you just make it clear we're not on board. I mean, burn your MAGA hats. I've tried it. I went out to a little bit to Michigan in 24 to try to get people not to vote and try to get some attention. We bombarded True Social. We bombarded Twitter. It didn't do any good. They're not listening.
Said then, I want to get good Republicans elected. I'm doing this to get their attention. And they spun it. You were actually trying to stop votes. I got some horrible news for radio listeners. TV viewers just saw it. Just like I said at the start of the show, Trump has now announced forever war. No, we're not talking about a Hollywood movie with Tom Cruise.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, if we start occupying cities and stuff, Trump won't live to see the end of it. It'll be going on a while.
He just said 1984 forever war. Reuters. They're printing the article now.
Because there will be insurgencies.
What the hell is that, Nick Fuentes? I mean, this is just, it's like Trump is an old barn burning down in lifetime.
Yeah, it's a sight to behold, especially for us. I think that a lot of people got red-pilled after the pandemic. Maybe they don't realize the gravity of this, but this is just like, what else is there even to say? I mean, at this point, this is the same guy that came down the escalator and said the war in Iraq was a big mistake. We should have never been there. We knew they had no weapons of mass destruction. And now he says we're
the defense contractors are very happy.
Fighting a forever war against Iran for regime change. You just have to shake your head and you wonder how people are still on board.
We call them defense contractors, but they're war profiteers.
The worst part is you go on Twitter and people are still making excuses. They say, it's about China. Well, we'll wait until there's boots on the ground. You go, really? I mean,
forever.
I don't know what people need to see for them to realize
that's
that
funny. This is from The Sandlot.
We got betrayed.
Forever.
Now we need to try something else. But yeah, it's shocking to hear these things. He goes, I don't have the yips about boots on the ground. You don't have the yips. We're going to deploy to the Middle East again? Movie? Seriously? And then they say, we can go indefinitely. We're going to fight forever. Now, in fairness,
who's Trump's like producer that put that on the screen?
I think
Or
that
not
when he says
Trump, who's Alex Jones's producer that put that on the screen?
that is rhetoric, and that
No, all of this is to sound strong, but the point is, it's antithetical to what he ran on.
Right.
I mean, because that's what the Pentagon wants, is a 20-year war like Afghanistan that's just a big moneymaker.
It is antithetical, and here's the thing: Trump can gesture and bluff all he wants, but we are in the war and we're getting drawn in. So the problem with those kinds of things is, the Pentagon is going to take that and run with it. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile.
Well, yeah, let's
And
be
same
clear.
thing with
Let's go to
the
break and talk
Israelis.
about this. It just blew me away. I mean, the Iranians lost 2 million people. That's World War I numbers in the proxy war with Iraq against Iran backed by us. These people do not fuck around. Yeah, a bunch of high school and college kids are out running around protesting. They're not going to kill people, folks. The Muslims are willing to do it. And they're not the retards like the other Muslims. We'll be right back. I am cutting this announcement.
What is that last sentence? What?
Testing. They're not going to kill people, folks. The Muslims are willing to do it. And they're not the retards like the other Muslims.
What the fuck? Oh. And they're not the retards like the other Muslims.
We'll be right back. I am cutting this announcement to our VIP Lego next two for me. Y'all like that. They're 50% of your support people in the world.
So
You can really
stupid.
break them into three along with that. And you gotta ask who. I love it's like I'm gonna just on my did this.
What does he mean the other one?
Always see God. Your plan in the end was the most advanced thinking. And Nick, I think it's important to state that because I can tell, and I know you get ready for your show. I've seen you ready for it here. You're just reading, researching. Nobody's telling you what to say. There's no handler. When they've sued me, the Democrats and their big law firms, they're always like, "Who's the boss? Where's the money? Who tells you what to say?" They cannot believe for years till they depose the whole crew. Like, who tells you what to say? They don't even get like this is real because for them, they're slaves. It's all handed down to them. Every fucking word they say. So speak to authenticity. You say what you want about Nick Fuentes. You are your own man. You're not a Fed. You're not controlled. You're your own 26, 27, 28, whatever it is now, young man. And that very idea threatens them that there's so much native talent that God gave us through our species.
Well, that's the thing. They're now trying to reverse engineer me. In the past year, they saw my clips go viral. They saw the show blow up. And now they're all trying to reverse engineer. And they want to say, well, what is the secret ingredient? Why are people listening to this guy? And in many ways, I'm sure they did the same with you.
It's authenticity and native intelligence.
Well, they try to characterize it and they say, well, it's because they're edgelording or they're offering something sensational or it's
That is it. That is
all
why.
different types of things. And they're always looking at it on the cosmetic level. But what they're missing is that we are real and people can tell. We are trying to do our best. We are trying to tell.
Yeah, when I think of Nick Fuentes, the first word that comes to mind is real.
Truth. We are guided by our conscience, and people can pick up on that. You're a live streamer in a sense. You're on radio. I'm more of like I guess we're both in live streaming.
No, I've been live streaming since it started, yeah.
But you can't hide. You can't hide on a live stream. When you do a show for 3 hours a day, every day for 20 years, and I've done it for 10 years, there's nowhere to hide on that. Eventually people can
ask,
pick
how
up
do you
on.
have energy? Because they got to calculate everything in 2 minutes. No, the answer is I don't calculate how I look. I already know what's true. Exactly. There's no energy to bullshit when you're on the air 4 hours a day.
Exactly. There's no pretense. There's no facade. There's nothing like that. And that's what people like. People are sick of being lied to. People are kind of dumb, but they can tell when they're being lied to sometimes. And I think that the basis of our appeal, or at least the reason why we have a fanatical following, people that really follow us, is because there is that connection. They're tapped into the same thing that we are.
I think you're right. Overall, you're right. But the big thing is you're right. You've been right like 99% of the time, Nick. That's why they did.
Oh my God.
I mean, sure,
It's
you're
99% of the time.
You're a good-looking guy. You're witty.
He's flirting with them.
I edgelord too. It's fun, but it's unscripted. But at the end of the day, it's being right. You would not be successful if you were not correct. That's the final ingredient, is being right. That's what they don't like. The bad guys hate the fact that we're smart, we figured them out, and we're right, and they know it. And if people listen to us, they'll learn how we know. We tell them the secrets, how we know it, and we tell them it's game over. That's why I keep harping. Look how accurate I am. I said Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. I bet there's a sleeper cell Muslim attack, and I bet it happens tonight. Probably Austin, Texas, or Dallas, or Houston. It happened. It just people ask, how did I know that? It's just I can just see all the pieces.
You're right. It's the truth. It's fundamentally it's the truth, and that's our biggest secret weapon I think that we have.
So where does this go forward? I want to play a few clips of the Zionist Greater Israel. Anything you want to say, just say it now. Because I've been asked the questions. You're very nice. I've told you be aggressive. Like
you're very nice.
You're very, very deferential on mine. Give us 10 minutes of just however long you want. Nick Fuentes Unleashed.
Nick Fuentes Unleashed. Well, to me, this entire debacle with Iran, it has to go somewhere. Like, I'm with you when you say, how do we pressure Trump to stop? How do we, although I am pessimistic that we can get Trump to change course, this does have to give way to something. It does have to generate action. And I continue to believe that the only action that is really going to work, that is possible, is that we have to switch up the voting. I really believe that. Like, my playbook right now, when I look at this Iran thing, all this does is make me more confident that I was right in 24.
Listen,
because
I love Gavin McInnes, but he said something yesterday very profound. He goes, Trump's got us by the balls. I'm his bitch, basically. Well, I don't want to be in that position.
Exactly. So you need options.
You are Trump's bitch.
You don't want to be somebody's bitch. You need options. You need to be able to walk away from the table. And what allows you to walk away from the table is if you have another option. You have somebody else to go to.
And the Republican Party is like a woman. And I don't want to be mean to women, but it's just funny. When you tell a woman, I'm done, you're not in charge, they kiss your ass. As soon as you kiss their ass, you're in the doghouse.
Yep. Yeah, that's a weird psychology. It's any negotiation.
Yeah, Nick Fuentes, expert on women.
And any negotiation is like that. It's all a power dynamic. It's all about, the coincidence of wants. And so they want our votes. We want them to work for us. If they don't work for us, we can't give them our votes. And if we're not going to give them our votes, well, we should just throw them to the other side.
How obvious is it with Israel? I get Israel swinging its dick around to piss everybody off. But what about Israel bragging they run us here domestically? That's not good. I mean, what's the chutzpah point?
Yeah, so I think that Tucker might be onto something when he says that the reason they do this is because they want actually to bait and incite people to freak out. And there's sort of like a subtle distinction here. Then certain groups can say, oh, there's all this anti-Semitism, and people usually stop there. But you got to consider, the Jewry in Israel is distinct, although related to the Jewry in America.
Jewry.
The Jews in Israel, I think their desire is to see the American Jews move there. I think their desire is to see American.
Yeah, they see themselves as the Ubermenschen.
Yes, and so I think it is in their interest to generate Jewish nationalism, and Jewish nationalism is a response to anti-Semitism.
That's
so
why
they can
Israel
put out all
bombed
the stuff.
Baghdad, bombed Madrid in the 50s to make Jews, and blamed it on communists to make them move to Israel.
Exactly. And similarly in America, all the so-called anti-Semitism is pushing the American Jewish community into the arms of Israel, either moving there or supporting them or, getting involved in activism. So I think to the extent that there's a play there, I think that's pretty clearly what it is. There's a symbiotic relationship.
Well, look at how Israel funds Al-Qaeda, funds Hamas, creates them, all that, the elements running it. And I'm not saying do this because I couldn't do it either, but and the Muslims, obviously, on average, are so emotional, so it's impossible. But if they
everybody, please give the stream a like, and we're still trying to get closer to the ghoul. If you want to help out with the ghoul, it's pinned in the top of the chat right there. We're at 50% right now, hoping to maybe try to get it to like 60 or something. If anyone wants to help out, it would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Gandhi or Martin Luther King or Jesus Christ him. Jesus knew what to do.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine if no one fought Israel and everybody just stopped. Well, then Israel would just stage stuff and say they did it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They would just blow stuff up and say they did it. I mean, but what if you could get everybody to stop fighting Israel? That would be the key to shutting it down.
See, I don't know if that's the case. If it's just a matter of getting them to stop fighting, I think that.
No, but you get what I'm saying. They fund the radical Muslims to get attacked, right? And stood down on October 7th. Obviously, it's academic what I'm saying. It's not going to happen,
right? Yeah, I think the solution is that we need a movement that is.
Oh yeah, Keith Dickens dropping 5 memberships.
Further
Let's listen to the giggles. Let's hear them giggles. Hell yeah.
The sense that
that shows you what they're scared of. They got 20 states or 23 to pass laws that if your city condemns Israel and genocide, they don't get state funds. That's unconstitutional. Exactly. They're really worried about boycotts.
Well, and in particular in the national security apparatus, they don't want anybody in the National Security Council or the Pentagon that is going to tell the president you need to restrain Israel, because they're driving the conflict. I said it on my show the other night. If it was up to Washington and Tehran, they would have made a deal because it's in both of their interest and there is enough overlap there. It is Israel that doesn't want the peace. So what's the answer? The United States needs to use its leverage over Israel and say, look, we pay
look
for
at all these pictures they have on standby.
We protect you from sanctions and from the UN.
Is that Huckabee?
And the rest of it. You have to do what we say. You have to listen to us. You're not going to.
Well, that's de Blasio, the former mayor of New York.
Alone. You're not going to sabatage our
it's Mike Pence.
Diplomacy. You're not going to go out there with these provocative statements and threaten Iran while
Ivanka.
we're trying to make a deal.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to actually have peace.
Oh, there's Trump. He's shaped like a bell. You notice that? His suit jacket makes him look like a bell because he's got these little legs. Ding, 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 ding.
If Tehran and Washington were to make a deal, that is the necessary step. As a matter of fact, that's the only step.
Because I said before you came on, I was going to say this and I didn't. Maybe I'll shoot a special report today because I have a lot of sources. I don't want to give them up. But a lot of it came out in the newsletter, so I can say it now. Trump's doing face saving right now, saying, no, I made Israel attack first. Well, the Pentagon's like, no, we didn't want to attack during the day. And Rubio's like, yeah, they did it. Sorry. They're all freaked out about this. I know the chairman told him privately, he came on the news, this is a bad idea, don't do it. We'll follow your order though, sir, but here's 70% bad options, we say don't do it. Then I confirmed with others that Israel, basically Trump was like leaning on not doing the attack, so they did this. Now Trump is face saving because he wants to obviously do that, and that Trump got really pissed off. There's photos of him screaming at Hegseth, who I think overall is a good guy, but the bottom line is that I've confirmed that Israel is basically in control of our foreign policy by our own posture to be allied with them. And that is uncontrovertible, because now they're trying to do damage control. Oh, no, Trump gave the order. No, our very doctrine is if Israel's attacked, we attack. And so thank God Russia's not following its agreement with Iran or China, or we'd be in war with them right now. So it is a fact. And then the neocons, the Israel lobbies, all over the internet attacking anybody that points this out and tries to say it's not the case. Well, Netanyahu brags about it. So, I mean, that's the big news. I'm not even defending Trump. It actually makes him worse that it is now literally true. What I claimed, well, I wanted to claim wasn't true because I don't want to believe it, that Trump is an errand boy of Israel. And how do we deal
what
with
is
that
this from? Is this some kind of AI or something?
If Trump is an errand boy for Israel, then you got to shut down.
I think this is AI.
And that means you got to go into the midterms and you got to get the Democrats in. And the Democrats, hopefully,
they got someone it's their job to poll like random media to fit with whatever they're talking about.
The administration. That's what they're going to do. They're going to launch investigations, subpoenas, select committee, all that kind of stuff. And they're going to grind it to a halt. And, if Trump is an operative of a foreign government, consider that he's forfeited his entire mandate, because his whole basis of support is that he's America first, MAGA. He's not like the other politicians. Okay, well, if you're an errand boy for Israel, if you're a puppet of the Jewish state and you're bringing us to war for them, that's not like a small thing. That's not like a little bit of foreign aid. We're going to war on their behalf. He has to be opposed. And a lot of people don't want to take it there for one reason or another. But, I don't know what the option is. I don't know how you work with that. If you're America first and Trump is Israel first, well, that's not exactly a divide that can be bridged. There's not actually a middle ground between
no, I totally agree. So let me give you the good news from my sources. And there are many, Pentagon, White House, you name it. This is a firestorm. Trump is really pissed off. He doesn't even know what he thinks. That's why all these messages, notice the last few hours, the messages are all schizophrenic. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, all over the media.
So that's good news, at least. I think we've got to. What would you? I'm telling you, Trump will end up probably seeing this because they respect you. I've met with them and stuff. I told you off record. Like they've said the algorithms. They're paying attention to you, son, and I mean that in a nice way. What,
Sonny boy?
What would you advise the president to do right now?
Well, it's tricky because we're in. So, you would have said never go in, but we're in now. Now that we're in, I think you got to hit Iran really hard and then you try your best to leave. But, again, it's like I said before, Israel is going to want us to push deeper and deeper into this until we have a full-scale regime change.
And then if we win, put assholes in to do it again.
Right. So you got to back off. You got to let the Iranian regime reconstitute itself and restore order. Because if the Iranian security architecture is not going to rule the country, then who is? There's nobody else. So it's either a failed state. That's what Aaron Prince
said 2 weeks ago. Same thing.
Everyone has. I mean, it's just obvious. This country has 90 million people in it. Their economy's already collapsing. If you don't have the IRGC running the country, it's just going to be a failed state. Unless you have an alternative, which they don't. So that's who's going to prevail. And so you need
to it's a war crime to go wreck this state if you don't have an alternative.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. This is shaping up to look like Syria or like Libya, one of these places where it's like the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. Because who's then going to provide all the services and the goods, and who's going to provide for the logistics and infrastructure, security?
Well, I've seen Israelis on a bunch of interviews say, we don't care about the Iranians. Screw them. Wreck it. We can't be part of something like that.
Well, and this is the Jewish holiday of Purim. I believe it was yesterday, Purim, which commemorates the victory of the Jews over the Iranians, and they celebrate their victory by killing 75,000 Iranians, just on account of. They already won, they already got their guy, and they just killed a bunch of them anyway. So they view them as the Amalekites. And the Amalekites kill the women, kill the children, kill everybody. That's who we're dealing with here. And people say it's the Khazar Mafia. People say it's the Masons. This is out of the Old Testament. This is out of the Talmud. It's Jews. It's Israel. And that's what they have in store for the Iranians.
Nick Fuentes makes his objective very clear here.
Yes, they love, just like in Gaza, they love to see it. So,
all right, I had like 50 clips, and I should have played this with you, but Nick, things are quick, and you got to come back sooner. I'll come on your show if you want. You got to come down to Austin. You're dead on. You've been totally vindicated. My respect level would have been higher. Here is the former Israeli prime minister, total Rothschild operative.
I wonder if this is the guy they'll try to put in charge. Because this guy is the eldest son of the Shah. So the last, monarch of Iran. This guy's the crown prince of Iran in exile. So I'm wondering if they're going to put him in there.
Naftali Bennett just days ago saying, when we're done with Iran, Turkey, who has the biggest army in Europe, this just shows the Israel project. Like I said, I told people Saturday, I said, it's the next country, and we're supposed to now go to war with Turkey. I mean, this is bullshit. Play that, and then go to the clip of, I want to get your take on here. You talked about it in your show. I saw you. But Huckabee going, yeah, Israel could take it all. I mean, and half the countries are allies of Israel. This is like, yeah, I love my neighbor. He's my friend. I'm going to eat him next week. Here's the clips.
A new Turkish threat is emerging. I want to be very clear. Turkey and Qatar have gained influence in Syria, are seeking influence elsewhere and everywhere throughout the region. And from here, I warn, Turkey is the new Iran.
Oh, God. They're already picking the next one.
Erdogan is sophisticated, dangerous, and he seeks to encircle Israel. And while some senior Israelis were on Qatar's payroll, Qatar and Turkey are nourishing
with Turkey to overthrow
the
Syria
Islamic
last year.
Brotherhood monster that is growing and eventually might become as dangerous as the one created by Iran. Turkey and Qatar are gaining influence not only in Syria, but also in Gaza, through the front door.
If Israel just stopped now,
and everywhere, and trying to create a new
they've won, they can be successful. They're not going to stop.
Turkey is trying to flip Saudi Arabia against us and establish a hostile Sunni axis with nuclear Pakistan.
You've appealed to Genesis. Genesis 15 says it's Abram, it's pre-Abraham, it's Abram, receives from God the news that his descendants will inherit the land. And you tell me as the theologian if I'm getting this wrong, but from the Euphrates to the Nile. I think that's right.
I watched these interviews.
That would include like basically the entire Middle East. That would be the Levant. So that would be Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon. It would also be big parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq. It would be, I mean,
I'm not sure it would go that far. I mean, it would be a big piece of land, but here's the point.
It would be a lot of places that are now countries.
I love how he ropes him in. Well, we'll just take most of it.
Area that we're talking about now.
Fuck this.
Israel.
Fuck this.
Is a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose. It was a people, a place, and a purpose. We can look at it that way. Christian Zionism, I want to go back because that's where we started.
I'm not going to let you off on this because you have said it 3 times that God gave this land to this people. And so it is entirely fair for me with respect to ask, what land are you talking about? Because I just read Genesis 15, as I have many times. And that land, I think it says, from the Nile to the Euphrates, which is, once again, basically the entire Middle East. So God gave that land to his people, the Jews, or he didn't. You're saying he did. What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
Play that again. Back it up 10 seconds. So here's the deal. I can do the math. I can talk for 10 hours on this. They attacked Saudi Arabia, Jordan, all these places. I mean, we already had Obama put radicals in to take over Egypt. I mean, this is cuckoo town. Play it again. He's like, yeah, they can take it all. They will take it all. And we're supposed to be the muscle for this, folks. Here it is.
Because you're appealing to Genesis. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
But you want us to do it, Nick Fuentes.
That's exactly right. And it doesn't stop everybody thought it would stop in Iran. And now they say, well, we're going to take out Erdogan and so on. And it just goes to show that's their end game, is they want to control the entire region. They want no rivals. And that's why they took out Iraq, Syria, Iran. And now what's actually funny, in their quest to destroy Iran, they've actually rallied everybody against them. So Saudi Arabia was getting ready to join the Abraham Accords in 2023 when October 7th happened, and then that derailed the process. Now the Saudis are working with Pakistan on a mutual defense pact. They're bringing Turkey into it. There is actually an emerging axis that is literally being built.
Israel blames Iran when Saudi Arabia is clear. It's what Israel did.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. It's always Iran. It's always, then it'll be Erdogan in Syria. And it's funny because they took out Syria. Now they're worried that Erdogan is going to fill the power vacuum that they created. So
and they worked with him tacitly to take down Assad.
Right. Exactly. So
we got 45 seconds left. Are you gonna do a show tonight?
I'll be doing a show tonight, yes.
When do I get to go on your show? I want to come on.
That would be weird.
Soon. See, we don't have. I don't have a big studio like yours. I have a small studio. I don't have enough room.
You got to start doing them.
Yeah, I know. I just like to hear myself talk more. I guess.
No, I get it. It's easy. Hey, listen, you're dead on. I want to try to figure this out. Nick Fuentes on Rumble. Nick J. Fuentes. Thank you so much. I hope you're wrong that Trump's unsalvageable, but we're about to find out. Thank you so much for being with us. Powerful hour and 45 minutes.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So I think it's about time for me to wrap this one up here. I'll be back later tonight. We'll do some more fun stuff. We'll check on this and see how this develops. I do. It is weird to see defectors in their ranks. So I will be back later today. All right. You guys have a good one.